La narrativa más fuerte del 2024 fueron las meme coins. Superó a Bitcoin, superó a inteligencia artificial, realmente fue lo más grande que hubo. Y la gran pregunta es, ¿va a continuar en 2025 o fue solamente una moda del 2024? Por ese motivo voy a traer al fundador de Lofi, que es la meme coin más importante de Sui y el tercer proyecto más importante de la red, para que me dé la visión completa de, bueno, su proyecto, por supuesto, del ecosistema de meme coins y de cómo ve la adopción completa de cripto de cara al siguiente año y en adelante. ¿Qué tal, chicos? Soy Kamanus y la verdad que es muy raro lo que traigo acá porque por lo general cuando sale una meme coin, por más que sea grande, el fundador no aparece, no da la cara, nadie lo conoce, es bastante shady. En el caso de Lofi no es así, el tipo desde el minuto cero dio la cara con todo su background, quién es, su equipo y por qué lo hace. Entonces aproveché y lo contacté, porque que el fundador de una meme coin grande esté doxeado, se dice eso, es raro. Y me dio bola, me conseguí la entrevista y voy a estar hablando con él ahora. De hecho está grabada porque es en inglés, con lo cual tuve que subtitular. Pero va a estar hablando de toda su visión, de lo que viene, de los listings, la conexión con Sui como ecosistema. Pero otra cosa a destacar, aparte de todo, es que está ejecutando tan bien Lofi que empezó a ser ahora mencionada por iXPT. ¿Saben qué es iXPT? Es el agente de inteligencia artificial que analiza los proyectos y va viendo a cuáles les entra liquidez, cuáles tienen más volumen, cuáles tienen perspectiva de crecimiento. Y le hizo un feature, esa inteligencia artificial no es que lo manda a alguien. Y le hizo uno a Lofi y lo acaba de publicar, donde lo menciona como el tercer proyecto más importante de, bueno, Sui, que es la blockchain del ciclo, es la que más está subiendo. Entonces, bueno, les dejo ahí el tweet de iXPT. Paso a la entrevista, creo que vale mucho la pena. Presten atención también a la info que va tirando, porque tira bastantes spoilers de lo que se viene, que está bueno, bastante alfa se llama en el espacio cripto. Y después, bueno, pues llego a una conclusión después de la entrevista. So David, thanks so much for joining me in the channel. I told my community I really wanted to have you here, but it was like, I'm gonna try, guys, and here you are, a real founder from a real meme coin.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Manu. I'm excited to talk today, and I'm sure we'll get into some good stuff here soon.
Yeah, before going to the meme coin space, to Lofi and everything, I want to ask about you because it's not normal to find, it's like quite weird to be honest, to find like a public founder. A founder that is doxed in the meme coin space. Why have you chosen to do that?
Yeah, great question. So when I thought about building a project on chain, a brand on chain, and having that brand be a global brand, it really truly a global company, what I envisioned was one with a very strong community, but also you need community leaders. And I think that for me, I wanted to be someone that led by example, and I wanted to make real connections. So I wanted to build a real connection between myself, between the brand, and between the community. And so for me to do that, I figured I had to dox myself, and it would be helpful as I went to events to meet people from Sui Foundation or Miston Labs, or such as we're doing right now, right? It's much more, friendly to see two people talking and understand that there's actually someone behind the facade. So I thought it was important to build a real connection, and to do so, you have to put your face on it. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's had a pretty net positive effect on what we're building.
Well, you mentioned that you envision Lofi as a company, am I right? So it's not just a meme that you put out and that's it. You're actually working as a company.
Yeah, so my background, I have about 10 years in marketing and quite a bit of experience in finance and economics. And so I've got this good background of really everything when it comes to building and launching brands. And through my Web3 marketing agency, we've supported many companies in the crypto space, the blockchain space since 2018, from layer ones to Web3 gaming companies to meme coin projects. We've kind of done it all. And during this time, I've collected a lot of really good experience, and it's allowed me to look at things a little bit differently, to say, hey, I don't really want to launch a meme coin project. I don't want to be the person or the dev or really, I don't want to suck any liquidity out of the system. I want to bring value into the blockchain. I want to bring value into communities. And so ultimately, I felt like it would be smart for me to envision this and kind of frame it as building a brand on chain, a global brand. So that's how we operate. And we have a team as well, a team that is aligned with that vision and mission. And it's allowed us to move through the last month, right? It's crazy, we're a month old, but we've moved through the last month with a different concept of what we are as an entity, as a community.
That's what I was gonna tell you, because like in 1 month you became like, I think if not the biggest, it's one of the biggest meme coins in Sui, and Sui is, I think, the ecosystem that is growing the fastest. It's crazy how much is growing Sui. So you're like a really important meme coin now in only 1 month. In I think the ecosystem of the 2025 that is gonna be like massive. How is that possible? How do you build value in a meme coin? Is meme coin something that can actually bring real value into a blockchain?
Yeah, that's a great question. I could talk quite a bit about this one, but first let me address what you said about Sui.
Yeah.
I do believe Sui is going to be a leading blockchain in 2025 and beyond. They actually, this past weekend, they passed the Telegram Open Network, the Ton coin, as I think their market cap surpassed and then maybe pulled back a bit. But it's been clear for a while that Sui has very great technology, a strong leadership team. They're full of builders, and ultimately they're well positioned to scale globally. So I do believe that Sui as a platform is impressive, to say the least, very impressive. So when we decided to build, right, when we decided to create this brand, we wanted to build it on Sui for that reason. The community is also very, very, very active there. I'd like to kind of compare it to like if Base and Solana had a baby. Like you get really good, really, I would say hardcore builders that are frequently seen on Base, people that are producing and shipping things, and that's evident in Sui's ecosystem. So great builders. But on Solana, you have, a little bit of fun and a little bit of a risk-on environment and people that like to kind of get in there and degen, for lack of a better word. So you have that in Sui as well. And I think it's this nice kind of hybrid. There's less PvP. It's more player pushing player, or PvE, which is like player versus the environment. And so it creates a better situation where projects, brands, meme coins, et cetera, companies can come into Sui's platform and ecosystem and they can thrive. And so that was the first thing, right? Is choosing the right platform. Your question was like, how do we do this? Number one, we chose the best platform and the best ecosystem. Number two, we looked at it differently. We said, hey, we want to build real value into this brand and create value on chain. So what does value on chain look like? Number one, it looks like user adoption. So if you're getting people into an ecosystem or onto a chain, that's value. Number two, transacting and taking activity on chain. That's a lot of value. And then number three is kind of the network effects. So they tell their friends, they tell their family, they maybe start interacting with other projects, maybe they start building. So it's really just the ripple effect of bringing people into an ecosystem. And what that ripple effect actually looks like is a growing community. So for example, we launched Lofi and we built our own community, but many people in Lofi's community have come from others. They've come from different projects in Sui. They've come from different realms in crypto. But as we start building communities, you start to build a denser talent pool, and you also have a greater variety in that talent, or a greater variety in that community. So communities, I believe, are what hold real value. I'll give you a funny example, right? If someone said, well, how would you bring value on chain? I would say, well, how did anyone bring value on chain? I'd say it was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first real meme coin. Why? Because it was a bunch of people who, quite frankly, believed in the mimetic desire, the mimetic kind of principles of what Bitcoin was. It was kind of anti-establishmentarian. It was anti-corporate, it was anti-traditional finance. It was this decentralized finance approach. And so Bitcoin had this almost like meme culture where people were very, very, very passionate about Bitcoin's value proposition, right? It was a value proposition, but ultimately it didn't have a lot of value there. People weren't buying houses in Bitcoin. They weren't paying each other in Bitcoin. They weren't staking their Bitcoin. So real value was brought on chain originally, right? Onto the first blockchain by community. That Bitcoin community grew into something that became a global brand, right? Bitcoin is a global brand. And it's also now a store of value for some. It's a way to transact for others. And for some people, it's kind of an index for how the crypto market is doing. So real value is brought on chain by communities. And it's very simple economics, right? If you're a supplier or if you're a consumer, so supply and demand, who holds the real value? I think the demand does, because that is what creates the supply. And so ultimately for us, we wanted to be on the demand side. We wanted to create consumers, and we wanted to build a community of people that saw what our vision was, right? So again, it's communicating that, hey, we're a brand. Here's kind of what here's our roadmap. Here's what we're planning to do, taking action on those things, and then inspiring the community to get involved.
I like the vision because it actually is like you mentioned. Right now, Bitcoin is everywhere, it's quite institutional and everything. But at first, and for several years, everything was like community driven. And it was like a niche. And that community really loved Bitcoin, and they hold Bitcoin and they like transact between each other. But at first it was just that. It then evolved into this global brand that you have mentioned. And I see that you envision that global brand for Luffy, if I'm right. I think your vision of Luffy goes down that road, am I right? You are looking for that, to go global, to go to create like a cult maybe?
I would say maybe we want to create a culture.
A culture, I like it.
And we want to create a community. I think sometimes cults get negative connotations.
You're right, but I didn't mean it that way. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we want to build like a diehard community, like a community of people that want to connect over, our brand's values, being appreciative and mindful and grateful for this, this second opportunity. And the second opportunity isn't, you woke up from a millennia long slumber, you defrosted like Luffy, right? That's his story, is that he defrosted, he came back to life, and he's like, what is this new incredible world? Like, I have to explore, like I need to experience. And that's what we're trying to convey to people, is like, you don't have to defrost and come back in time with all of your old memories. You really just, you can wake up every single day and realize there's plenty of world out there to live. There's so many things that you can experience, and to kind of inspire people to shape their mindset, more optimistic, to look at the bright side of things, to get out there to get involved in a community, a real community where people are pushing each other to be better and trying to drive real valuable connections. But you're absolutely right. We do want to do some big things. And that's why we're not just, we're not a meme coin. We're focusing on media. Yeah. So music, art, we'll probably get into NFTs at some point, more of an artistic side of things, but also to build the community. We're looking at some other things as well in the media side of the realm. I think it's important for us to get involved in Web3 games. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And I can't say much more at the moment, but again, the media side of things,
you're leaking information. Yeah.
The media side of things is important. That's how you create exposure. But also we want to be on the merchandise side of things. So merchandise to me is apparel. It could actually be experiential merchandise too. So we'll be doing some events. There's many things that we plan to do, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's not just a digital brand. We'll definitely have kind of like a physical experience for many people. And I think you may have heard the word before, phygital, where you're kind of a combination of both.
Yeah.
That's what I tell some friends, is like, hey, we're a phygital community, is where we'll be active online, but in real life, you'll be able to find us and see the presence of Luffy as well.
Yeah. All of these that you are mentioning, I wanted to have this interview with you because I think 2024 was driven by meme coins. It was Bitcoin and meme coins. Like utility tokens were like not pumping at all. Nobody cares. They really tried. Nobody was like buying. So something happened in 2024 that everybody in the crypto space like stopped buying and quit with the utility tokens, and they went into memes. It was so big that Solana pumped really hard. They went into a new all-time high and everything. The Solana pump was driven by meme coins. So why do you think that people has changed from utility tokens to meme coins? And do you think that this is gonna change in 2025, or the bull run of meme coins is gonna continue?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that what we saw in 2024 was definitely, it was a wild year, right?
Yeah.
Some of the ETF approvals and Bitcoin and Ethereum news and Ripple. It was a crazy year in crypto, but ultimately a good one. And I think, yes, it was fueled by meme coins, but really what I tell people is, was it meme coins or was it something else, right? Like people say the meme coin super cycle. That's what they're saying.
Yes.
The meme coin super cycle. And I think there's a little bit of truth there. But ultimately, I think it's the community super cycle. I think it's a community super cycle. And so rewind the clock, right? Go back 3 years. And you remember the NFT craze. Well, NFTs, I think, in terms of technology, are very valuable. There's a lot of really good technology, utility, as you said there. But why were NFTs so hot? Why were they red hot? Why were they getting so much attention? I think it was, again, because yes, it was a speculative market. People felt like there was a lot of upside. But two is because there was a lot of very strong communities. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club was one of the leaders. CryptoPunks was one of the OGs. You have now a collection of NFTs, right? The Pudgy Penguins, that has gone from an NFT, a piece of art, grew into a community, and now it's a global brand and just launched their token. So I think that personally, it's more of a community super cycle. I believe that, again, this goes back to what I was saying. Communities hold real value. If your community is 10 people, sure, you maybe have some local buying power, some local sway. If you have 100 people, a little bit more, 1,000, 100,000 though, then you start to kind of create a little bit more pull, right? You have more magnetism. So I think that as communities grow, they begin to kind of push markets. And that's what we're seeing, is that communities around tokens, around memes, right? Like real life memes, like whether it was Moodang, right? Like a real life meme, or Chill Guy, a real life meme. Communities have formed around these memes, and it's become a community super cycle. So I think it largely has driven 2024. You're going to see another component to that is it's now easier than ever for a consumer to get into blockchain. So what I tell people is there's usually two types of people that are in crypto or in blockchain, right? You have an investor, someone who's very active, they're investing, maybe they're day trading, but then you have a consumer, right? A consumer is someone who wants to buy, they want to get involved, they want to be a part of a community. And so they're consuming on the blockchain, and it's easier. The on-ramp to get into crypto is very easy now versus, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, when I first got into crypto, you couldn't do anything on your phone. Everything was on your computer. It was very hard to navigate, and it was a little bit more difficult, but the UI UX has improved. More consumers have come on chain, and they're looking for ways to consume, and they're finding those communities to do so. So I believe it's a community super cycle, and I think in 2025, it continues to get bigger. I think we see this this massive surge. So yeah, I would agree with you that it's likely to come.
So you think like in 2025, this super cycle for meme coins is going to continue because it's all about community, but don't you think like now with the new SEC and everything, maybe DeFi will become stronger again and you will have like competition? How do you see that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that the change in administration is important in the US, but I think outside of that, you also have to look at change in global policies. And over the last several years, there's been more regulatory frameworks. There's been greater adoption of blockchain technology. Really, as a whole, blockchain and crypto is moving forward. And many countries around the world are embracing that, with the US being a leader in technology and global GDP, with the US kind of stepping up under Trump's administration, whether it's a strategic Bitcoin reserve, whether it's new regulatory guidance. I think ultimately what you're going to see is, I don't want to say popularity, but you'll see more expression in crypto. You'll see more builders in crypto coming to life. You'll see kind of this hub, as Trump has said, right? If he's going to really truly foster innovation, and the SEC is going to work with crypto to set safe guidelines for consumers, I think it'll actually be a very big positive for the space, and net positive for crypto. And I would say it's bigger than the SEC. I think it's what Congress does. I think it's how corporations evolve. But ultimately, if your government is supporting crypto, that allows businesses to support crypto, corporations to support crypto, along with consumers, right? Consumers feel more comfortable.
So in general, what you see is that, maybe you will have more competition, but also like the whole market will grow, the market as a whole. So everything is going to be more adopted. That's basically what I get from what you're saying. Like, we are going into a world that embraces crypto. It's not going to be against crypto anymore. Well, right now, I think today, the day we're recording the interview, Dubai or the United Emirates has said that they own Bitcoin. in their own banks. So that's crazy to see how like the countries right now are starting to push towards crypto.
Yeah. Dubai, I think, announced they have 40 billion.
Yeah, something like that.
Bahrain as a country has close to $1 billion. El Salvador, under Nayib Bukele, has quite a bit of Bitcoin. You know, they basically shifted a large portion of their monetary policy towards Bitcoin. And it's funny because he found all this gold in El Salvador, and he was kind of joking, like, what a coincidence! I have all this gold. He's gonna mine the gold and sell it for cheap so that the price of Bitcoin goes up. But you know, some of these things are I think not coincidental. They're destined.
I think maybe because what he's gonna do now, they found like 3 trillion tons of gold, something like that. They're gonna dump all that gold to buy more Bitcoin. So this is a switch of mindset. Think like 10 years ago, a government selling their gold to buy anything else, whatever. I mean, gold was like the #1 commodity by far. Right now, they are thinking about, even in the States, this discussion is live, like selling their gold to buy Bitcoin. I don't know if they are gonna do it in the end, but still, it's like a massive discussion. And
yeah,
one more thing, yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why does gold have value? Like,
that's a good question. I mean, because people want for the gold to have value, and they want to use it as like reserve of value, like a store of value. But that's it. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't. You're not like, for example, like silver has many more utility applications. Gold doesn't really have a lot of utility applications, but it has value because communities, right? Community-driven memetics have created this psychology that gold is valuable, that gold is shiny,
exactly.
And it's nice,
yes,
pretty, right? And it's a store of value, right? But at the end of the day, if people started to realize, like, I don't really like gold, or I would never want to buy gold, right? Like, gold will lose its value. It has low utility.
Imagine trying to go into an airport with like a bar of gold. It's impossible. To go into a plane with a bar of gold, they're not gonna make it.
Not gonna make it.
No, but you can have your coins, whatever coins you have, in your wallet, and it doesn't matter which country you're in. I mean, it's there. So that's the crazy part. In fact, I mean, you as Luffy, I'm going to talk a little bit about Luffy now, because you as Luffy, you have been helping in Nigeria. So it's so easy to move wealth, to move like value, that you have been helping in Africa. I don't know if you have been there in person, but still, you have been helping there. I don't know exactly what you have been doing, but I know that Luffy has been doing some charity in Nigeria.
Yeah. I mean, for us, again, like being a global brand, it's not, for me, it's not all about taking. I think giving is very important, and being charitable is important. And a lot of people in crypto have made a lot of money. They've had a lot of good opportunities, and it's changed a lot of lives. So I think the best way as a community or as a brand to make your impact felt is to give back, to create real world value. And so what we did is we partnered with someone known as Bitcoin Mandela. He's a leader in setting up water wells and public toilet facilities in African villages, because oftentimes these communities and populations, they're not as privileged to have running tap water, right? Like, you know, I wake up and I go to the bathroom in the morning to wash my face, and like, I don't even consider the tap water as a luxury, but it is. And it's scary. You know, there's more than 2 billion people worldwide that don't have access to clean tap water. And so the reason that we wanted to do this is because I think it makes a huge direct impact on people's lives, right? Like putting a water well in a village makes a huge impact on that village's lives. And number two is because Sui is a bit of a water-themed blockchain, right? Like they have the logo, that's the water droplet. There's a lot of water-themed avatars and, you know, projects. So we felt like it was a good crossover, but ultimately Lofi's charitable initiative is to protect and care for Earth's water sources and to sustainably create water sources for, you know, Earth's population, our people. And so we're going to be doing much more than that. We're likely going to announce in the next week how else we're giving back before the end of the year. But it was important. We became the largest donor through Bitcoin Mandela, 6 water wells, 5 public toilets in Nigerian communities and those villages. And I think it says a lot about our commitment to doing right in the world. And as someone who's spoken with many builders in Swee's ecosystem that live in Nigeria, they're ecstatic about it. They're very happy that, they love to see a direct impact in their local ecosystems. And so, yes, we're going to have some media captured. We want to document what we're doing because we truly believe it's important. And if we can rally a community to, raise $100,000 in a couple weeks, you can create a lot of real world impact. So I think in the future, we'll likely be doing some large donations as well.
Okay, and for what you mentioned, more announcements are coming. So, yeah, I knew you were helping. I didn't know, in fact, how deep you were involved. But I'm happy to hear, that not all communities help. And as you mentioned, it's not everything about taking. Giving is important. And I think it also helps to create what you have mentioned, like it's really important, a real community. I mean, everybody's working on getting that done. So I think, that's a good move. And you are constantly mentioning like Sui. So I think you're really close to them. Am I right?
Yeah. There's been many great
But really close. I mean, so close that they might help Luffy. Oh, you're I got you.
If someday the Sui Foundation can amplify what Lofi is doing, that would be great. And I think ultimately for us, we as a community, Lofi, we want to amplify what Sui is doing.
Yeah.
So when you find two parties with mutually beneficial interests, yes, you can grow together. There's a bit of synergy there. But after working with and talking with people at the Missim Labs team and Sui Foundation and just doing an X Spaces with Adani, who's the chief product officer, you can tell that they really have a vision that aligns with ours, like a global vision. Adani and many people at Sui describe Sui as a global coordination layer. And it's, as he said, much bigger than a blockchain, right? It's much bigger than decentralized finance. They're a global coordination layer, and he believes it's $1 trillion market. So it's hard to argue with his vision.
They plan to go big. Well, I mean, I like it. If not, why are they building? And what's your plan for Luffy? How big do you think you are going?
Well, my saying is go big or go home. So we're gonna go big, very big. I think that our focus is two things, right?
Yeah.
Big vision, but also in the day-to-day, how do we create value today? How do we take a step forward, kind of a 1% better mentality, right? And that's what Lofi is as well. Like he defrosted, he came back, he wants to experience, he wants to become better and kind of navigate through this new world. And so for us, it's similar, right? We're in this new era. We're in an era where digital ecosystems are flourishing. We're in an era where new types of finance, like decentralized finance, are coming into real world conversations, and they're very valuable. And so ultimately for us, we have this big grand vision, right? Being a physical brand, being digital, kind of being everywhere all at once, every time of the day. But, in the day to day, like what I'm focusing on now is how do we create let me actually give you my mindset. So there's 4 C's. The first one is content. Content's how we connect with the second C, which is our community. So content, community, and then collaboration. And so those are the kind of pillars of what we want to do is we want to create really good content that connects, content that evokes emotion, content that ultimately builds a community, that we're going to drive campaigns or initiatives, things to, again, amplify our community. And the last way is collaboration. So collaborating with other projects, other people in the space, even collaborating with you on this interview. It's great because it shows kind of who's behind the brand, what the brand is doing. And so the 4th C is just consistency, right? Like going back to what I said, like a day-to-day mindset. And so those are the 4 C's that I talk about. There's 3 A's as well. So the 3 A's are awareness. We want to build awareness about Lofi, what our mission is. We want to make Lofi more accessible. So right now, like myself talking with centralized exchanges, talking with different collaborative partners, right? Making Lofi more accessible. Even like Phantom Wallet, integrating Sui in potentially the near future. I believe it's very soon. But that is going to make Lofi.
Are they doing it?
Coming soon. But they're going to integrate Sui, and that'll make Lofi more accessible. And then the last one is adoption, right? Like being able to get people to come in and adopt our core values, our belief, to buy into our vision. So the 4 C's: content, collaboration, community, and doing those things consistently, and then awareness, accessibility, and adoption. And that's kind of how we view this on a day-to-day basis. It's, again, like, I don't know if you've ever heard someone from a meme coin project talk like this, but again, we're more of a global brand.
No, that's why I'm so interested. That's what I wanted the interview. It's not normal to have a founder showing his face, talking about his vision completely. Usually meme coins are like a different thing completely. It's like hidden people, never show the face, try to take your money out as fast as you can. So this is like, I like it a lot. And it's almost time, but I want to ask you about that second A, accessibility, centralized exchange. Anything big coming? Maybe a leak? Something you can say?
I can say this. We've already paid one centralized exchange that's quite large, and again, from an accessibility standpoint, their market is very, very good. We have 2 others that we're finalizing discussions with, and a lot of interest, right? A lot of people have been inquiring and reaching out. So the centralized exchanges are important, and it's kind of like a building blocks process, right? You want to step up to the larger tier 1 exchanges, but I'll tell you this, Manu.
The road to Binance.
Yeah, the road to Binance. I don't want to just stop at Binance. So I want to think bigger than centralized exchanges. I think there's many good apps, like in Europe and other places. Revolut is a great app. Robinhood expanded to Europe. Robinhood's very popular here in the US.
Yeah, I speak.
So again, those are consumer apps. That's how you truly make a brand accessible. And for us, that's where I'm thinking in the long run, right? Is accessibility outside of centralized exchanges, just like going onto your phone, onto your financial institution, and boom, you can just, you can invest in Lofi. So we've got some good things coming.
I like because when you are about to leak something, you smile. So I know something is coming for real. Yeah, you smile when suddenly we are talking about something that is actually happening. But listen, yeah, I was mentioning not only because of the speculation, also because usually people, when they are in their first steps, into crypto, they are more comfortable buying and getting through centralized exchange. So I think they're important. I know there's people that hate them completely, like a fundamental philosophical thing. But let's be honest, I mean, you have to have like possibility for everybody. There's people that like DEX, there's people that prefer SEX. I mean, you should be able to choose. And newcomers usually go through centralized exchange. So that's what I was asking. And to have one of the big ones, I don't know which one is. I know you probably cannot say, but never mind if it's one of the big ones. I know it's like a big door for a lot of people to be able to join. So that's important. And David, just to close, if you want to say something before ending the interview.
I think it's been a great interview. Thanks for having me. And for anyone that's interested in Lofi, I would say check us out on X, on Instagram, TikTok, get in the Telegram. You can always send me a message as well, too. Like, again, I'm a doxed founder behind the project. I'm leading the project daily. It consumes a lot of my time. If I look tired right now, it's because I was probably up late working. But ultimately, if you want to get involved, it's easy, right? You don't need to buy Lofi. We're not asking you to buy. Just join the community and come check out the vibes and hopefully add something back with us.
Okay, all of the social media and everything is going to be down in the description, so you can find everything there. And it was a pleasure, David. Let's keep in touch. Well, we are in touch. We are talking always in Telegram. He's really active, guys, so when he's saying you can reach me, he is for real. I mean, when I told you guys that I was going to try to reach the founder in Telegram, well, it was quite easy. To be honest, he really answers back quite fast. So thank you so much, David, and I hope to see you again in the channel soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Manu.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ahí teníamos entonces al fundador del proyecto. La verdad es que pude dar con él por medio de Nebula, así que la gente de Nebula, muchas gracias. Les hablé al respecto, me introdujeron con el fundador. Se súper copó, la verdad que súper agradable el tipo. Porque aparte de la entrevista hablé bastante. Tuve como 2 calls, estuvo bastante bueno. Y lo traía porque es raro que una memecoin exitosa, el fundador de la cara. Y segundo porque pertenece al ecosistema de Sui, que es uno donde vengo invirtiendo bastante y donde yo elegí entrar en memecoins. Yo entré en memecoins principalmente principalmente en Sui, secundariamente en Tron. Tron fue una narrativa de un momento, pero Sui creo que tiene con qué seguir subiendo. Y por este motivo elegí ese ecosistema, porque es muy nuevo. Cuando algo es nuevo, todavía tiene low market cap y la chance de que algo vuele es bastante grande. Entonces, como saben, entré en Sui, entré en otras, creo que Hippo y alguna que otra también, me sumé dentro de la plataforma. Ahora, ya dicho esto, siendo originalmente anti-meme coins, hoy yo veo a las meme coins como una narrativa de verdad. Ya no es la jodita de sube-baja. Ahora es una narrativa real, como está inteligencia artificial, como está gaming, como está real world assets, como está DeFi, como está Layer 2, Layer 1. Meme coins ya no pueden ser descartadas. Ya tienen un market cap, una comunidad. Ya cambió, o sea, ya es una parte de una narrativa de verdad. Y por este motivo es que hay que dejar de verlas como algo de descarte, sino que como algo que va a entrar en tendencia, va a ser de tendencia, al igual que todo lo demás. Pero bueno, Lofi es uno de los tokens meme coin que yo estoy holdeando. Hoy es casi el único, la verdad. De lo demás me salí bastante, tengo algo pero muy chiquito. Creo que Lofi es la única que tengo relativamente importante y el motivo es que a pesar de ser líder dentro de Sui, todavía la considero con un market cap chico. Esto fue todo, espero que les haya gustado, les mando un saludo. Chao.